Hey, this is Scott with Leading Edge Archery. Hey, I got Raul Reyes with Fletcher Brothers here. How you doing, man?
Good.
Good?
Good.
Hey, we're going to go over arrow build today. Talk about how we build an arrow really for big game animals. We're going to build actually Raul's arrow that he's going to take on all your axis hunts and whitetail hunts this year, correct? Cool. You're going to use Easton axis arrows. This is his current arrow, which is a 340 spine. And we're going to go over that entire build process and how we do it. We like to use these boning 3-inch X veins. The reason we like that is because the X veins are amazing for tuning just about any broadhead on the market. Big cut-on contacts, really small mechanicals. It does it all for us. Raul, sponsored by G5 Prime. Likes these Striker V2s. We love his broadhead. It's a great one. Also got the Nocturnals. He'll be tuning this with the Nocturnals?
Yes.
Yes?
Correct.
Just to make sure that, because these Nocturnals weigh about 20 grains more than the average nock that comes on these arrows. So we want to make sure that we've got them tuned perfectly to that Nocturnal.
Correct.
And then also, my favorite part of this arrow is that steel half-out system. You know, the axis comes with the
HIT insert.
The HIT inserts. I'm not a fan, sorry.
Yeah.
I love these steel half-outs. They really protect the end of the arrow. The energy transfer between the broadhead and the shaft is not compromised in any way. So we're excited to be trying this new outsert this year on these big game arrows. So anyways, we're going to break off a little bit and then get on the build process, show you guys how we do this. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to actually spin test these arrows. The reason we like to do that, we want to make sure that they are within tolerance on their straightness, and we can cut out any of the anomalies that are out there. Thank God Raul is like me, he's short. We can cut these arrows down to about 26 inches, and that allows us a lot of room to cut off on both the back and the front end if we need to. I'm anticipating, though, these Eastons are probably going to be pretty straight. That's good. I'm going to cut this one off about right here. This is where this one starts to do a little bit of wobbling. So out of that entire 12, we've had 2 that are just a little bit off center, just on the end of them. We're going to cut about 2 inches off of that arrow shaft. You know, some of the guys out there will probably maybe pass judgment a little bit on the fact of not cutting all of them off. I really don't know why we do that. That's why we spin test. There's no reason to waste that carbon and just do an arbitrary cut an inch or an inch and a half back from the back knock. If the arrow's straight, the arrow's straight, and there's really no need. It's just adding extra work. So we're going to head out back and go to the fletching side of it and start the inserting and all that fun stuff. So now we're going to take the shafts and we're going to actually straighten off the ends a little bit. We got a handy tool right here on the arrow saw, which will allow us to do that. So I'm going to take them, put them on the top, straighten out the ends if they need to be. The saw actually is pretty good, does a pretty good job. Okay, now we got all the ends squared up. We're going to head over and probably do the inserts first and then we'll fletch last. Okay, so now we're going to actually get the end of these arrows prepped up and ready for the inserts. Once again, these are the steel half-outs for the 5 millimeters. So we'll take a little bit of alcohol on the end of a Q-tip. We'll clean out all 6 of these ends. The reason is the carbon dust will get in there. As you can see, the end of this is black. We like to get them really clean. Do about half of them with one end. Get some more alcohol on the next. Okay. So now we use Bob Smith cryo glue. This is their tip grip glue. It is it's actually a rubberized compound. The reason we like this glue over top of the clear stuff that people use to fletch arrows is because they will crystallize, and when you get the arrow impact over and over in the target, they actually will start to break away like glass. So if you're pulling out inserts, I guarantee it's wherever you're getting your arrows done, they're using a fletching glue instead of tip grip glue. So once again, rubberized compound, it doesn't really set up hard. It stays somewhat pliable so that it can take the punishment of the arrows impacting the target over and over and over. So there's one big mistake that I think that people do when they're fletching arrows or actually putting in inserts. They use way too much glue. I go by the old premise of less is more. And this stuff is pretty amazing, and you really, really don't need to put that much on it. I'm probably going to run out of this. Oh, there it is. And I put way too much on this one. You only need about one side. That's actually too much. We're going to insert the tip in and make sure and turn it. You see me turning that shaft while I'm pushing it in. And that helps spread it. And the last bit, I'll push and wipe off all the excess. Just like so. That one's done. Let's do another one. So once again, I'll usually do two sides, there and there. So I've got a little bit on each side. And I'll put that arrow in there and I'll spin it the entire time while I'm letting it go into the shaft. Get to the last bit, push in, and wipe off the excess. Okay folks, we got Raul's Black 5, I believe it is, here in front of us. And we just took off his target rest, which was a spot hog swap. And we're getting ready to install his Hamskea hybrid hunter, because he's turning this sucker into a hunting bow. So Raul does a really good job of using target bow and hunting bow with the same equipment. So we're going to install the Hamskea now. Probably one of the better rests on the market today. They actually cut their teeth on the tour as the Hamskea Versa rest, and then 3 years ago started making these hunting rests, and they're amazing. We prefer limb-driven rests in our shop because they do cradle the arrow much longer than the traditional cable-driven rests. So all we're going to do is throw it on there and then tie his cable off on the bottom limb. So once again, the limb is the last part of the system to actually move, which is the reason why it cradles so much longer than a typical cable-driven rest. About 65% longer. You can actually Google that and look at it online. There's a lot of YouTube videos out about it. So down here we're tying a simple square knot on the yoke screw. Then we'll grab an Allen wrench and reset the tension cable. Now we took this off of, I think, of a CT3 roll. Prime Synergy Hybrid. And we're going to find out how close she is on the tune. I'm actually hoping she doesn't tune so you guys can watch the tuning process. So we're just going to kind of throw it on there. Not even eyeball it and see what happens. All right, folks, we got Raul over here, and he is going to now paper tune that rest. Look. As you can see, we've got what's called a low right tear. We got some work to do. Okay, so now we got a low right tear, so we got some work to do a little bit. We're going to take a look at the center shot and where the rest is sitting in the profile of the bow. And if I look over here, we definitely are running what we call neutral zero on this, so neutral bubble. The primes love to be about a half bubble high, meaning the rest is lower than the locking point, and they also love to be outside of center shot. So we're going to go through and real quickly and fix this on the rest. What I love about this rest is that micro tune. So I'll take this. We were right, which means we got to bring this in just a little bit. We got to drop the rest. Low tear, drop the rest or raise the knocking point. High tear, you raise the rest or lower the knocking point. Those are the rules of thumb. And we were right, so we're going to bring the rest in just about a half of a hash mark. Like so. Now, we tighten everything back up and let him shoot it again and see where we're at. Okay. Okay, folks, here we are after we got that rest retuned. Let's see what happens.
How's it going, sir? How can we help you out?
All right. That's what I love about these bows. Here we are, perfect bullet hole, easily fixed. Okay. We just finished up inserting those Easton Axis arrows, so now I've got Miss Paige Jones and Miss Kenneth Stevens. They are two of our technicians here who are incredible at fletching, better than I am, no doubt. They're going to fletch those arrows and kind of walk you through how they are fletching and how they get the best bond for that vein going onto that carbon fiber arrow. So I'm going to turn it over to those two, and you guys are going to talk through exactly how you're doing that process, and then you're going to film it all.
We're using the Boning X veins. We're using the 3-inch veins just because it's a little bit better for hunting, especially. We want to make sure that we get, really good arrow flight. If you get anything a little bit less than 3 inches, I think that it kind of starts to lose a little bit of that momentum for you. But so we have marks on our jigs that we put the fletchings at. So you're gonna put the fletching, or you're gonna put the clamp on the jig. You're just gonna hold it. I hold it for 10 to 15 seconds, just making sure that it gets really good contact and sealed down all the way. All right, we're all done.
Hi, hey guys. My name is Paige Jones from Leading Edge Archery. I know that Kenna already walked over kind of the veins we use and why exactly we use them. So she showed you how to do it. I'm going to walk through the process that I do it. I already had one on there, so I'm going to start with the second vein, and what we're going to do is we line up the end of that vein with that mark, just like that. And how I do it is we're going to do 3 drops. We are using BSI, which is the Bob Smith Industry glue. Okay, after we put the 3 drops of glue, we're going to go ahead with the toothpick. I make sure that everything's on there. If you get a little bit of excess glue, it's alright because I'm about to show you how we get rid of it. So we're going to line it up on there, see how they're both even, everything like that. If you see that excess glue, don't worry about it. We're just going to wipe it off with a Q-tip to keep it nice and clean. We're going to press down on it, make sure both of the ends are on there along with the middle. Sometimes, especially how long you've had the Bitzenberger, it can really lift up on those fletchings, so make sure you press it down 10 to 15 seconds. Alright, and then after that is done, you're just going to lift it up just like that, flip it over depending on if you have 3 or 4 fletched, run up with the Q-tip just like that. We're going to do another green one. Like this, same thing. And usually if we're doing that, I like to line it up first, make sure it's even before I put that glue on there. But again, 3 dots, 3 small dots like this, 3. Take a toothpick and slide that glue on there, make sure every part of that is coated pretty well. And press it down. 10 to 15 seconds, and like I was talking about, that excess glue, don't worry about it. Nothing a Q-tip can't fix. Just like that, let it hold. Alright, take it off. Take it out of the jig. And you can go over with the Q-tip your finger if you don't mind getting a little bit dirty. And that's how I fletch.
Okay, great. We just had Paige and Kenna get done fletching these arrows. They did a bang-up job. A couple of things. We like a 2-degree offset on these veins. There's some guys that put a really heavy helical, but I tell you, we've done a lot of testing on that. It creates way too much of a parachute effect. It steers really well, but if you like to shoot over 50, 60, 70, 80 yards out there, you'll find your point of impact will drop dramatically because the rate of spin the arrow is under. So 2-degree helical in all our testing has come out to be just the most optimal when it comes to steering that arrow and giving you the maximum effective downrange accuracy. We're going to check what the weight of this arrow is on its finished. So it's 383 grains. So when we put this broadhead in it, and here's the G5, Striker V2. We're going to finish weight of 482 grains. We're going to spin this to see how straight these inserts are. And that arrow's perfect. Came out perfect. 482 grains, finished weight. I'll tell you what, elk season, moose, I don't care what you want to kill. This arrow right here is going to do the job for you. 27 inches also, because Raul's like me, he's a super short guy. So both of us around 26.5 to 27.5 inch draw length. To have an arrow finish out with that kind of weight is going to be absolutely amazing. I want to say this arrow is probably finishing around 9 to 10% FOC, which is perfect. We like to see that 9 to 12% in our range somewhere. So other than that, thanks for tuning in. If you got any questions, make sure to give us a call here at the shop. Come down and see us. We'll help you build the best arrow for the game animal that you are hunting this year.